Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to continue with chapter 10 Light of 10th class NCERT science textbook. So first topic is sign convention for spherical lenses. You have already started sign convention for spherical mirrors before. Let us have a look at this diagram. Now here if O represents optical center of a lens, like in this case or in that case, okay, and let us say this is the principal axis of the lens, then our first point of the sign convention should be that object is always placed on the left hand side of the lens. It means direction of incident light will be from left towards right, and optical center O of the lens is taken as origin and the principal axis is taken as x-axis. So these three things, origin, x-axis and object is always on the left hand side, these 3 points should be covered under one point. Okay. Secondly, here all the distances which are parallel to the principal axis, which are those distances u and v, object distance and image distance, they are measured from the origin, that is optical center. Next, distances measured parallel to the principal axis and towards right hand side of O, origin, are taken as positive. Those measured parallel to the principal axis and measured towards left hand side of O are taken as negative. These distances are perpendicular to the principal axis and this is above it and this is below it. So all the distances which are measured perpendicular to the principal axis and are above it are taken as positive, and the distances which are perpendicular to the principal axis and lie below it and are measured below it are taken as negative. I hope this figure represents all the points of sign convention. In short, I have written the sign convention here. For the complete sentences, you can follow the sign convention for spherical mirrors, because it is exactly the same. Only the difference is instead of mirrors you have to use lenses, and instead of optical center you will be using pole as origin. Rest all points are similar. So in short, what I have written there are 4 points. First point contains 3 subpoints. Principal axis of the lens is taken as x-axis, optical center as the origin, and object is always on the left hand side of the lens. Second, distances parallel to the principal axis are measured from the origin or optical center. Third, distances measured towards the right hand side of O are taken as positive and towards left hand side of O are taken as negative. Distances perpendicular to and above principal axis, or we can also write heights measured above principal axis, are taken as positive, and heights measured below principal axis are taken as negative. So this is exactly the same as for spherical mirrors. Only the difference is use the word lenses instead of mirrors and use the word pole for origin instead of optical center. Now let us apply this convention to convex lens here. Now this is a convex lens, principal axis, optical center, and the 2 foci I have shown here. Okay. Now let us use a convention and place the object on left hand side only. Here there are parallel rays, it means object is at infinity. So when object is at infinity, image is formed at focus, or these parallel rays which are parallel to the principal axis meet at a point which we call it as focus. And you know, distance between focus and optical center is called as focal length. Since there are 2 foci here, so some of you may get confused whether for assigning the negative or positive sign, whatever sign we are going to assign to focal length, it depends on which focus we are choosing. So be careful, use a sign convention, keep the parallel rays or object on the left hand side here. Wherever the rays meet, that will be, importance will be given to that focus. Okay, so for assigning sign to focal length, we'll be using this focus, and hence the focal length will be this OF, that is the distance measured towards right hand side of O. So this focal length is positive. So you can always remember for convex lens, What is the focal length? Positive or negative? What is its sign? Always positive. U is the object distance. Distance between object and the lens or optical center of the lens. We know object is always on the left hand side. So distance of object from the lens will be always negative as per our convention. Similarly, when we find V is image distance. We know we have studied that for convex lenses, there are two different types of rays formed, real and inverted as well as virtual and erect. Real and inverted images are formed on the right hand side of the lens and virtual images are formed on the left hand side of the lens. So we can say for real images which are formed on the right hand side, the image distance will be measured towards right of O and hence V will be positive for real images. Okay, because real image lies on the right hand side of lens and as per convention distance measured towards right hand side of optical center are positive. Since virtual image which is formed only in the case when the object is between F and O, virtual image is formed which lies on the same side of the lens here. So which lies on the left hand side. So in that case image distance, that is distance between image and optical center, will be measured towards left hand side of O and hence V will be negative for virtual images as per our sign convention. So do remember this, it should be on your tips. U, though there is no need to worry because for all the lenses, for all the mirrors, U is always negative. For convex lens, F is positive and V is positive for real image, negative for virtual image. Now let us have a look at concave lens. In concave lens, if we take parallel rays coming from an object at infinity, then they appear to meet at focus or they appear to diverge from a point on the principal axis which we call it focus. Now again, there are two foci because in mirrors there is only one side reflecting. In lenses, both the sides are refracting. Okay, but for assigning the sign to focal length, we'll use a sign convention. So keep the parallel rays only and only on the left hand side because our object is on the left hand side. So then the rays appear to diverge from only this focus which lies on the left hand side. So we'll give importance to this focus and hence we'll give importance to which focal length? This FO, which is measured towards left hand side of O. And all distances measured towards left hand side of O are negative. So F for concave lens, that is focal length, is negative. U as object is on the left hand side, same like this, it is negative. We know that concave lens always produces virtual and erect image for whatever may be the object distance. So if virtual image is formed always, it means it is going to lie on the left hand side only. And in that case, V will be negative, as here also V is negative for virtual image. I hope you have understood this convention properly. Do remember to use proper signs using proper convention when you do the numericals. Because if you do silly mistake, if you choose a wrong sign, your whole numerical will go wrong. Hope it is clear to you. Now let us study lens formula and magnification for spherical lenses. Lens formula, as the name indicates, it's a formula which is valid only for lenses. Now lens formula is a formula which gives a relationship between U, V and F, that is object distance, image distance and focal length of a lens. And it is as follows. So this is a lens formula. 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. If you remember mirror formula, in mirror formula it was positive. In lens formula this is negative. Mirror formula was 1 upon F is 1 upon V plus 1 upon U and lens formula is 1 upon F is equal to 1 upon V minus 1 upon U. But whenever you do the numericals, all should be in the same units, either in meter or in centimeter. Now magnification. Magnification's basic definition is same as we have studied in our lenses reflection part. That magnification is the ratio of height of image to height of object. For lenses, this is a basic definition, basic formula which is valid for both lenses and mirrors. But for lenses, this is also equal to V upon U. Okay. Now remember, for mirrors, this was same, but it was also equal to minus V upon U. And for lenses, M is V upon U, minus sign is not there. So in mirror, here we have positive sign, there we have negative sign. In lens, here we have negative sign and there we have positive. It does not mean the answer will come positive only, because these are the formulae. When you use them for the numericals, you will be putting U, V, F as per the sign convention. And similarly, V and U will be put as per sign convention. So M answer can be positive or negative. I hope you remember magnification rules. If the value is, M contains two things, symbol and the number. If the symbol is positive, it indicates virtual and erect images. If M is negative, then it indicates real and inverted images. If M is positive, virtual and erect images. If it is negative, real and inverted images. If value of M is greater than 1, greater than 1 means numerator is greater than denominator, then the image of size of image is more than size of object. Image is enlarged. If M is equal to 1, both are of same size. Size of image and size of object are same. If M is less than 1, then height of image is less than height of object and we say image is diminished. So M gives us an idea about the size of, relative size of image as compared to the size of object, as well as it tells us about the nature of the image. I hope this is clear to you now. Let us see now power of a lens. Actually, what is power of a lens? We know that convex lens converges the parallel rays and concave lens diverges the parallel rays which are incident on them. Now, shorter is the focal length. Wait, I'll explain you using the diagram first. Now, convex lens is a converging lens. We know that when we take parallel rays, they meet at focus. So, here through the diagram, we can say that it converges the parallel rays. It is clear from these two diagrams that here focus is lying closer to the lens. So, shorter is the focal length compared to that lens which is having focus far away comparatively, and so the distance between F and O is more in the second diagram as focus lies far away from O compared to this lens. So this lens having shorter focal length compared to that bends the rays more, converges their rays more, and here the rays are bent but they are less bent compared to this because focus is bit far away compared to this focus. I hope it is clear, both the lenses are converging the parallel rays at its focus. But as the focus lies closer here, so the rays are bending more compared to that case where the rays are bending less as the focus is far away. So which lens is having more converging power, first or second? Obviously this, because here the rays are bending more, getting more converged. Why they are getting more converged? Because focus is closer, focal length is shorter. Hope you have understood. So the degree of divergence in case of concave lens, and in this case it is convergence. The degree of convergence of rays of parallel rays of light is measured by the power of a lens. So power of lens is nothing but it is a measure of degree of convergence or divergence of rays of light falling on the lens. Convergence in case of convex lens and divergence in case of concave lens. But instead of this definition, you should give the quantitative definition of power of a lens. Power is denoted by capital P. It is a physical quantity, and its quantitative definition means definition based on the formula. See here, P is 1 upon F. Power of a lens is a reciprocal of its focal length. We know that shorter is a focal length, more is the converging power of the lens. It means focal length is shorter, power is more. So they are inversely proportional to each other, and we can always remember to define power of a lens in a simple way by giving its quantitative definition, that is, power of a lens is the reciprocal of its focal length. Shorter is the focal length, more is the power. In this case, it is converging power. In the concave lens, it will be diverging power. Similarly, you can draw the two diagrams for diverging lens, that is concave lenses, and you can show the one which is having shorter focal length will diverge the rays more compared to the other having longer focal length. So, power of a lens is a reciprocal of its focal length. Now, let us think about its SI unit. To get the unit, we always use a formula. 1 is a number without any unit, and focal length is having the unit meter, SI unit meter. So, per meter, which can be denoted by like this, m raised to minus 1. Per meter is a unit of power. But in SI system, we give it a special name, diopter. Symbol is capital D and the complete spelling is diopter. So, what is the SI unit of power? Diopter. This is a symbol. We know it is equal to per meter, but we prefer to use this unit. Okay? CGS unit will be per centimeter. It is not given any special name. Now, if I ask you, define the SI unit of power of a lens or define 1 diopter. How will you define it? This will be 1 diopter when this value is 1, when this is 1, when f is 1 meter. So, you can define SI unit of power of a lens is 1 diopter, and 1 diopter is the power of a lens whose focal length is 1 meters. So, lens having focal length 1 meter has power of 1 diopter. And we should remember, for convex lens f is positive, so power is positive. So, if I say I have a lens of plus 2 diopter, it means it is a convex lens. For concave lens, focal length is negative and power is negative. So, any lens having negative power is a concave lens, having positive power is a convex lens. Hope you have understood this. Remember, all the formulae that we have mentioned for lenses, they are valid for thin lenses. Okay? Thin lenses. Now, let us consider thin lenses in contact. It means if a number of thin lenses are placed very close to each other, like maybe 2-3 convex lenses, or maybe 1 concave, 1 convex, or 3 concave, 2 convex, if a number of lenses are placed in contact, then obviously they will act like a lens, they are together, will act like one single lens. What will be power of that combination of the lenses is equal to P1 plus P2 plus dash dash dash. It means if 2 lenses are in contact, net power of the combination will be P1 plus P2. If 3 lenses are in contact having power P1, P2, P3, then net power of the combination will be P1 plus P2 plus P3. Using the formula for P1, P2, P3, we can write 1 upon F is 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2 plus 1 upon F3 and so on. Depends on the number of lenses. It means when 2 lenses are in contact, then we can get this relation 1 upon F is 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2. This F is the focal length of the equivalent lens, which is a combination of the 2 lenses. But this is, remember, this is not true here. So we cannot add directly the focal length and say this is the focal length of the equivalent focal length of the lens or the combination. This is wrong. Okay. Remember, when 2 or more lenses are in contact, thin lenses, then their focal lengths are not added to get the effective or equivalent focal length of the combination, but 1 upon F is 1 upon F1 plus 1 upon F2 and so on. It means individual parts of the lenses are added to get the equivalent power of the combination or effective power of the combination. Here, when you will add the parts, you will take the parts along with their sign. It means positive for convex and negative for concave. And if the answer comes out to be positive, then the combination of lenses is behaving like a convex lens. If the final answer of part you are getting is negative, it means the combination of lenses is behaving like a concave lens. Hope this topic is clear to you. This is an additional topic, but you should know this. Now with this we have covered the 10th chapter of light of 10th class science. I hope the topics are clear to you. If you have understood all the topics, do revise them, because there are certain topics which require revision, like concave mirror, convex lens, or mirrors or lenses ray diagrams that require a lot of revision. Do revise them and keep this chapter, let it be on your tips, because this is a very important chapter, and from this chapter always numericals or ray diagrams come in the exam. So we will continue with this chapter, but theory is over. We'll continue with this chapter starting from the numericals part of the chapter. Okay. All the best, students. I hope it is clear and you keep watching this and keep liking the videos. So thank you, students.